little while ago, I made a couple of Lego themed videos, and I said in one of those videos that I was going to be making reviews of all of the Jabba the Hutt related Lego sets. And I do still intend to do that. However, various things, including the need to have a job and make money to live, have gotten in the way of making those videos because they are rather intensive in terms of the amount of time and effort that they require. So I just ask you to wait a little bit longer for some of those videos to come out. However, I thought I would make one shorter video about something that is related to that, and that is this. This is a box from the Lego Design by Me program. What is Lego Design by Me, you ask? Well, that's a good question. It was a service that allowed you to design a model in the Lego Digital Designer program on your computer using sort of virtual Lego bricks, and then upload it to Lego's servers where they would, I don't know, check it somehow and eventually send you a box like this, some instructions, which we'll look at in a minute, and of course the actual parts you need to build the model that you designed. So, why did I choose this? Well, I mean, you can probably tell what this is. This is Jabba's throne. And I thought, at the time, this was before the more recent Jabba playset had been released, I thought the original Lego Jabba playset was not that great in terms of its throne. It didn't have one that looked particularly like the movie. So I set out to make one that would be sort of a standalone thing, not unlike the vintage Jabba the Hutt playset. So I was kind of inspired by that, I guess you could say, and I designed this myself. Now there are probably much better ways to do this, but I will say that you're kind of limited, or you were limited. This program is no longer available, unfortunately. They stopped it about 5 or 6 years ago, but at the time you were limited to a certain amount, a certain subset of Lego parts that they would let you use. So, you know, you couldn't use anything that was sort of branded or licensed or anything like that. So I didn't have any Star Wars parts available to me, for example. But still, I was able to do a fairly decent job, I think, of this. Now, if we look on the sides, you can see Designed by Me. And then on here we have, if I tilt it a little bit so you can see, it says Throne on it. Now, why does it just say Throne? Well, funny story. When I first designed this, it was exactly like this, and I called it Jabba's Throne, I think. And submitted it, everything seemed to be fine. I waited several weeks. They said it would originally take like 5 or 6 weeks, and I assumed everything was fine. And then I found out after inquiring that they had canceled my order because I had used a copyrighted name, namely Jabba. It would have been nice if they had told me, because I was just waiting this whole time, assuming that all was well. But I went back, changed the name to just Throne, and it went through no problem, and I got it. So, as I say, they sent you this nice box, which is, you know, looks nice. This is a digital render. It's not actually a picture of the thing, but still, it has a sleeve. You take that out, and inside were the bags with the parts in it. Obviously, I've already opened those long ago and assembled the model. Let's put this back. One other pretty interesting aspect of this, though, was that they would send you a full instruction booklet like this. And this was automatically generated sort of by a computer, so it was not quite up to the standards of Lego's very good instructions. You know, sometimes they would have steps that didn't make a lot of sense, I think. But, you know, there you go. There it is. Gives you step-by-step instructions for you to follow until you get to the end, which is right here. Ta-da! Let's go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit, shall we? So here is the model itself, and, you know, this is nothing fantastic, quite frankly, but, you know, given the limitations I was working under, having to design this digitally in a program that was a little bit tricky for me to use, and also having to choose from a relatively limited selection of bricks, I think it came out pretty well. Now, as I say, this was kind of inspired by the vintage throne from the vintage playset, so it's got kind of a little under thing here, which really, I think, is not necessary. The actual throne didn't sit up like that, I don't think, but still, I think it looks pretty good. I can do a lot better than this now. I actually did make another completely different throne when I did my own custom version of the new Jabba's playset, or Jabba's Palace set for Lego, which I will be talking about at some point, hopefully in the near future. But yeah, I just thought this was kind of an interesting piece to introduce to people. Maybe a lot of people didn't even know that Lego did anything like this. It's more interesting for how I got it more than what it is, if you know what I mean. One thing to note, I think this frog in here I added later on. I don't think that was available as one of the options to choose from. Anyway, let's go ahead and put Jabba there on his throne. You can see he sits this right about there. And this was designed for this particular Jabba in mind. So, you know, that's why it was the size that it is and so forth. And I have this just on display in one of my display cases as a sort of standalone piece with a few other minifigures just to make a tiny little Jabba's scene there. As I recall, this was relatively expensive. It was around $50. Well, I say expensive. I mean, that doesn't even sound that bad for Lego nowadays, but at the time it seemed expensive. $50 plus shipping, but it was fun to create your own thing in the computer and have them actually make, you know, a limited edition set of one and send it to you. That's about all for today. As I say, do stay tuned for more Lego videos, hopefully in the not too distant future. Thanks for watching.